What up, y'all? It is your boy Alan C. Back with another episode of Al You Bugging. You see the ticker. Follow Al You Bugging on X, which is formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Al_you_bugging. Let's get right into it, man. Preseason, week 2, in the books officially. Um, a lot of teams didn't play the ones. They had joint practice. It was a lot of joint practices this week, so they didn't join. They didn't play the ones. So it was 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, 2-on-3s. Sometimes practice squad guys getting a lot more reps in the preseason because, like I said, the teams they worked out their ones in a more controlled environment, as they put it. Um, but a team that did play their ones, and I don't know if it's a cause for concern right now and up in New York, but Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm. Buffalo ones against Pittsburgh ones. Mm. I know I called Josh Allen a roller coaster. Roller coaster Allen. He continued to be the roller coaster in the preseason, just scrambling, trying to find something. Him and Diggs apparently weren't on the right page and couldn't connect, and them two had at it. On the sidelines, Gabe Davis had to get in between that. Um, yeah, they just did not look like they wanted to be out there. They didn't look like they actually belonged out there on the NFL field. It was really weird. Shout out to Pittsburgh defense. You won't hear me say that a lot. You see the Baltimore hat. But man, shout out to Pittsburgh. They came out there with a mission and they confused, one of the top teams, one of the top teams over the AFC over the last few years. They confused them with basic bracket coverage. And on the other hand, Kenny Pickett, although he was shut up on some short fields, Kenny Pickett looked amazing. Especially the back shoulder throw that he did to Pat Firemouth on the last touchdown. He made quick work. I know they probably wanted to play a quarter, but it was out in 2 drives. In Pittsburgh, they seen enough. You know, getting Kenny Pickett, the confidence he had in the first week where he threw a touchdown to George Pickens, and then another confident builder that he threw to Pat Freiermuth against the Bills, and the Bills were playing that one. The Bills defense last year didn't get a lot of time together because of injuries. I know Trey White missed more time than he wanted to play, and by the time he was back, Von Miller was out. Now, you still got Matt Milano on that defense. You still got Micah Hyde on that defense. You still got Jordan Poyer on that defense. Still got Gregory Rousseau on that defense. Still got Ed Oliver on that defense. That defense is supposed to look a lot better than how they played against Pittsburgh if they want to, continue being one of the top teams in the AFC. It just didn't look like they wanted to be out there. Speaking of coming out and playing in the preseason on the ones, San Francisco finally got their quarterback healthy and under center. He hurt his elbow. I'm talking about Brock Purdy. Hurt his elbow in an NFC Championship game. This is his first return to action, and he went 4 for 5. And his first action with the Denver Broncos. Last week, Denver Broncos struggled. This week, Russ was a little bit more confident. He actually ran the ball a lot more. They gave him a couple of more plays where he can actually, go off script. That's what Russell Wilson does. Russell Wilson has never been, a traditional drop back and throw it passer. One, he didn't have the height for it, and two, that's not. You play your quarterback to their strength. You don't play them to your system. You can't play them to their strength, and that's why you have Sean Payton. That's why you bring Sean Payton in. Sean Payton has been good with bringing quarterbacks and making quarterbacks play to their strength. That's that's a tradition. That's a staple of a Sean Payton offense. To make his players play to their strengths. When Drew Brees was getting hurt, Teddy Bridgewater would fill in, or Taysom Hill would fill in. And I'm not going to say they didn't miss a beat because that's a Hall of Famer, but they were able to win games still because Sean Payton is adept with putting his quarterbacks in the right position to make their quarterbacks play top notch. And also, great preseason game, Dallas versus Seattle. Now, running back Deuce Vaughn, who's been turning heads this preseason, he started off the game really strong. His first carry went for a 14-yard run. So Deuce Vaughn has been turning heads. He's definitely going to get on, on that Dallas roster. He could play a big role in that Dallas roster from what I could see. I think he can come in there and play a big role. On the other side of the ball, the Seahawks rookie, Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN as I call him, left the game early and he's going to have wrist surgery. Now, it's a small procedure and they hope to have him back for week 1 when the season starts in 3 weeks. He got 3 weeks to get healthy, so they'll let you know the timeline after he gets that surgery done. But he got hurt, in that preseason game. Speaking of injuries, horrible injury that looked like it occurred on the Packers versus Patriots game is Isaiah Bolden, rookie corner for the Patriots. He was carted off in the fourth quarter. He was trying to make a tackle and he collided with a teammate and just laid there motionless on the turf. That was announced that Bolden had all feeling in his extremities, but was taken to the hospital for further tests and observations. But you don't want to see your rookies going out like that, especially in the preseason. This was, Thursday night we had one of those. There was a couple of those where players got carted off, and now I believe this was on Saturday night. Packers and Patriots played, and Isaiah Bolden got carted off, as well as Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback John Wolford. John Wolford got injured. He injured his neck on a sack and had to be taken to the hospital as well. Rookie running back sensation, the fastest rookie running back as his time from the 40, Devin A-Chain. He injured his leg and had to be carted off. I'm trying to look for updates. We'll have updates for you on that the next show. But he injured his leg, had to be carted off. And Cowboys linebacker DeMarvion Overshown, he suffered a torn ACL. His rookie campaign is over. That's the Cowboys' third-round rookie draft pick linebacker out of Texas. His rookie campaign is now over. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. So it's not what you want to see from preseason action. Just to run down the scores real quick for week 2. Week 2 around the NFL had some good games on, even though, starters didn't play. We said the first tie on Thursday, 18-18, Browns versus Eagles. That ended in a tie 18. Friday night, the Giants beat the Panthers 21-19. Bengals and Falcons ended in a tie on Friday as well. So it was a couple of ties this weekend. Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Lions 25-7. The Dolphins beat the Texans 28-3. The Bills beat the Steelers. I'm sorry, the Steelers beat the Bills, 27-15. The Colts beat the Bears 24-17. Neither of their starters played. We won't get into that. The Buccaneers 13-6 over the Jets. Baker Mayfield didn't play. Kyler Trask pretty much played the whole game. He came out for a while for John Wolford, but John Wolford got hurt, and Kyle Trask ended up going back in, so he got a lot of valuable time this preseason week. The Patriots Packers game was ended shortly after the Isaiah Bolden's injury, so that game was concluded at 21-17 Packers. I'm sorry, Panthers, Patriots, excuse me. All these P teams. 21-17 Patriots. When the game was over, called. The Tennessee Titans beat the Vikings 24-16. The Tennessee Titans got 10-17 for Malik Willis, 85 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, though. The Chiefs beat the Cardinals 38-10. And that game, I know it was incomplete. I know it don't count. I know it was incomplete. But that pass that Pat Mahomes did, jumping to his right out of bounds and throwing it back left, bruh, that pass right there is one of the best passes I've seen in my life for incompletion. Definitely the best looking incompletion I've seen. 49ers beat the Broncos 21-20. I said Brock Purdy played. He went 3 for 4. Trey Lance played. He went 12 of 18, 173, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Sam Darnold played 11 for 14, 109, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Sam Darnold has looked pretty good the second game in the preseason. Raiders versus Rams Saturday night. Again, rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. This man ain't no rookie. He went 11 for 18, 163, and 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo played. He went 4 for 4 with 39 yards in that game. And the Saints beat the Chargers 22-17. Jameis Winston played. He went 13 of 21 for 169. And then rookie Jake Hayner from Fresno State went 11 for 17, 118. Easton Stick, pretty much, he played the whole game for the Chargers. 21 to 41, 233 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. And he got two rushing touchdowns on scrambles, however. So he didn't throw any, but he scored twice with running the ball. There was some starters that announced this week. Teams have announced their starters. Baker Mayfield has officially been named the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting week 1. So he has officially gotten the start. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought that was a foregone conclusion. I didn't like when they were saying Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. It just didn't. It wasn't believable. Like, honestly, Baker Mayfield was pretty much penciled in as a starter when he signed. Like, that's just. And I said, mark then with a pencil. It can be erased as the season goes on. I just don't think Kyle Trask is ready right now. Speaking of ready right now, Bryce Young, the number 3 pick in the draft. Bryce Young officially was he number 1 pick? I forgot where Bryce Young was picked. Was he number 1? Sorry, Bryce Young, the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I get Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud confused. Bryce Young was the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's going to be the number 1 quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this season. And his preseason has been a little shaky. It's been a little rough for the man in preseason. He's only completed 12 passes in the 2 games that he started this preseason. He's been behind that line getting hit a lot. So they giving him trial by fire. You will hope that he doesn't play week 3 in the preseason, give him a couple of weeks to rest up and, officially take on the task of being the starter for Carolina, once the league calendar actually kicks off for the regular season. And also rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, the number 4 pick in the draft, has been named the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. So the Indianapolis Colts have hopefully found their guy to replace for the long haul, Andrew Luck. So Anthony Richardson is officially the week 1 starter. Like I said, he and the Bears were practicing, so him nor Justin Fields actually started. I wanted to see these two play against each other, but they went against each other in practice enough, and he's officially the week 1 starter. We already knew Justin Fields was the week 1 starter for the Bears, so they both had the night off. And speaking of the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts, the all-pro running back for the Colts. The Colts have granted Jonathan Taylor permission to seek trade with any available suitor. Now, the Colts are asking for a first-round pick back if someone is looking to offer for Jonathan Taylor. According to Vegas, the 3 biggest spots for Taylor to land is going to be the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens is getting into that mix. I would like to see the Bills look into getting a running back, a trade for Jonathan Taylor. So if I had to name my top 5 places for Jonathan Taylor to land, I don't have a trade scenario for him, but it would be Buffalo, it would be the Dolphins, it would be the Bears. Like you said, I like Herbert a lot. Khalil Herbert is definitely a good running back, but you can upgrade there and have both of them switch out. I said Buffalo, Dolphins, Bears. I could see him going to maybe Dallas. You have Tony Pollard there, and you're trying to give him the start, of course. But again, he's running back by committee in this era, so you can put him there. And how about Tony Pollard? Tony Pollard has never been, the workhorse running back. So you can definitely switch him and JT there. You can give Johnny one more spot for JT. What about the Rams? Would the Rams be a good spot? I know they trying to keep some of their old guys, but most of their players on offense, their big names on offense, are getting a little longer in the tooth. They don't really have the greatest offensive line, but he could definitely inject some youth into that offense and some playmaking into that offense. And they don't really have a running back there. So I can see him going there. And speaking of starters, Sam Howell was named the starter for the Washington Commanders. Speaking of the Washington Commanders, they had a very interesting week 2 win over my Baltimore Ravens. The streak is now over, as you see there. The Baltimore Ravens streak ended for preseason wins that started back in 2015. The Washington Commanders beat them 29-28. Let's break down this game. Man, first off, shout outs to Washington. They came in here. The practice, they were practicing with Baltimore this week. It was really chippy. Um, like I said, on Friday, Forbes and Tylen Wallace got into it and came to blows. Mark Andrews uncharacteristically body slammed Johnson, one of their defenders. It wasn't really a good look, in that. And Sam Cosby came out and said the streak was stupid. They're ending it. And luckily for him, they did. Um, so Terry McLaurin got hurt in the game, and the MRI, he had an MRI done today. The MRI came back negative, so it looks like it's just turf toe. He should be ready to go for week 1, hopefully. So, they lucked out and didn't get their number 1 wide receiver hurt, but they played their ones pretty much the whole entire first half. Sam Howell played very well in the first half. Remember when I did the quarterback tears last Tuesday? Sam Howell was in the bottom of that. That just goes to show my concerns with Baltimore secondary and with their pass rush haven't been answered just yet. The pressure on the QB just wasn't there. Moon had a sack off the edge, but he wasn't blocked. Travis Jones played very well. I think Travis Jones did a great job clogging up the middle, pushing the pocket from the middle. Sam Howell couldn't step up. He had to actually scramble out and, they play contained defense. Again, that's preseason. They're going against the Scullys. They're going against 2s, 3s, and practice squads. But, Sam Howell did what he was supposed to do as a starting quarterback and came out there firing. So, hats off to him. Caillou Kelly struggled in coverage. Especially at the end of the second half, he gave up a big touchdown to give them some momentum going into the half. On the offensive side of the ball, hats off to Todd Monken. I like what I see from Todd Monken in the first half of the game. Yeah, we had our backups in there, and we had Jay Flowers in there, but he went power run, aggressive runs, and he was airing it out. Josh Johnson threw an interception that went on his stats, but it wasn't really on him. Josh Prochet dropped it into the defender's hands. But he threw a first half interception, and Monken came back out there throwing it, bombing it. Shout out to Todd Monken and his play calling. I definitely like his aggressive play calling. I wasn't the biggest fan of Greg Roman because I didn't feel like he mixed it up or he wasn't aggressive enough. Todd Monken is aggressive. Just by seeing that first half showed me everything I needed to know about his play calling. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to bomb it out. We're not babying nobody. We going. Y'all got to get it out the mud. You're not going to walk through that. Tylen Wallace had a great day last night. He caught a touchdown pass. He looks like he actually separated for that wide receiver 6 spot that I said was up for grabs. With Prochet's big drop that caused the interception, and Tylen Wallace went back and first off he drew a flag. You're gonna get a lot of them pass interference calls down the field that Torrey Smith used to get when he was here. They wasn't getting them recently. Tylen Wallace drew a big flag, and then he set up a touchdown pass for himself. Like I said, the power run game was very reminiscent of what Baltimore football is. I don't want Baltimore to get away from that power run game. I don't want them to get away completely from the quarterback runs. That's Lamar's biggest strength. Yes, he can run. Yes, he can pass. But his biggest strength is the run. That's the biggest threat because now your defense cannot turn that back on him. You turn your back on Lamar Jackson, or Lamar Jackson forces you to think one way or the other, and you're at his mercy, he has the upper hand every single time. So I don't want him to get away from those quarterback runs that Baltimore does. I just want him to get away from doing it so much. I don't want him doing 10, 15 a game. 6 is cool. 6 to 8 is a strong number for Lamar Jackson. He can get everything he need to get done. Now, that's called runs. That's not, okay, I don't see nothing open, I'm gone taking off downfield. I'm talking about call for the quarterback to actually take off and run, read options, all of those. Give me about 6 to 8 of those a game. We good. We good money. Also, shout out to Charlie Kola, who caught a couple big passes and deep passes down the middle. And shout out to what's my guy? What's my young guy name? Vokalek, the tight end. I think Vokalek may turn some heads last night. He caught 2 touchdowns. One of them was a very aggressive touchdown. He had to break through. And the second one was a dot by Anthony Brown. Brown threw a dot through 3 defenders. And Vokalek held on to it and caught it in the end zone. So shout out to Vokalek. Shout out to Darius Washington. I know a lot has been made about Baltimore Ravens in their corners, but Darius Washington came to play. Darius Washington looked good. DeAndre Houston Carson looked good, especially off his only being with the team for a week, not even. We signed him, I want to say last Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, somewhere around there. So he hasn't even been on the team for a week. He played well last night, picked up a fumble, and ran it back and got us in good field position. I think the second half of the game, the Ravens actually pulled back a little bit to see the run. Shout out to Keaton Mitchell. Hopefully he's okay. He left the game. That they said it was a shoulder stinger, so it was nothing too serious. But he left the game in the third quarter, and he had a big run. So shout out to Keaton as well. But all in all, the Ravens streak is over. John Harbaugh had a quote to say about that game, and people who were saying the preseason streak didn't mean anything. Harbaugh said about the streak, you're proud of it. Of course, you appreciate it, but the thing that you're proud of is all those games were mostly just like that. Harbaugh said in the video from ESPN. Preseason games, people want to write about it and say they don't mean anything because you never played the game. You were never out there in the preseason game. You never were fighting for a spot on the team. Yet you have the audacity to say that the effort that somebody puts into that to win and fight and win a game like that is meaningless. Tell them it wasn't meaningless, which you just saw. I can't respect anybody that says that. Shout out to you, John Harbaugh. You're absolutely correct. The streak itself was not meaningless. And the fact that those guys went out there, they played hard. You could see their heart on the line. You could see there were guys that was making their livelihood. Their blood, sweat, and tears meant everything to them for, since 2015 to now. All the preseason guys that played in Baltimore, they love it. That part right there is not irrelevant. But what is irrelevant, and I noticed you didn't mention it at all, John, and your quote was the score of said streak. No one cares about the score of a preseason game. Yes, you want to see effort. Yes, you want to see heart. Yes, you want to see these guys play. But the score is irrelevant. How they play is more important. And that's what people were saying about the streak being irrelevant. So what I'm going to do right now as we transition, it's a little hard pivot. I didn't really have a segue into this. Last week, I gave you my quarterback tiers, and I ranked all 32 quarterbacks. I'm going to give you my wide receiver tier this week. Again, I'm ranking all 32 wide receivers by tier. Just because one is on tier 6, I'm not rating them in tier 6. If you're a tier 6, the number 1 guy in tier 6 is the number 6 guy in tier 6, and vice versa. And I'm going off of what ESPN currently has as the depth chart. There has not been an official depth chart release. So keep that in mind when I say who's the number one, because I'm going to do the AFC South all team before we get out of here. And we'll see. Just keep that in mind for when I do that as well. So here we go. Tier 6. Let me get out of here. Let me go ahead and make this full screen. Tier 6 wide receivers. You got Kadarius Toney, Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, and Nico Collins. I'm not saying that they're bad wide receivers. They just how we'll rank the bottom 6 wide receivers, who I would consider the bottom 6 or the bottom tier wide receivers in the league. These are the 6 number ones. As far as a number one, these are your 6 number ones. Let's go up with the tier. We got tier 5. We got Odell Beckham Jr., who this year can prove that he's higher, but he was hurt. Same thing with Adam Thielen. Can prove he was higher, but he was hurt. He gets to go to Carolina and be their number one. Let's see. You got Michael Pittman Jr. You got Jerry Jeudy, who's been hurt as well. And you got Drake London. All of these guys are tier 5. Again, not bad wide receivers. I don't think that's a bad number 1 wide receiver in the league, honestly. All of these guys, they're just not better than these guys. Tier 4. Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, Christian Kirk. Again, this is who ESPN has as number 1. Keep that in mind when we go to the next segment. This is who ESPN has number 1. Christian Kirk and DJ Moore. I don't think, again, wide receivers ain't big. Garrett Wilson was just rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. Let's go up another tier. Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins. These are the top 15. We get into the top 15 wide receivers of the league. Top 15, not top 10. Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb. Top 15, very good wide receivers. Not great. The 2, top 10, not top 5. Top 10. Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Scary Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, and Mike Evans. Mike Evans, one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league. Had 1,000-yard receiving ever since he's been there. So, shout out to Mike. But top 5. The elite of the elites. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, best route runner in the game. Jamar Chase, best deep ball wide receiver in the league. A.J. Brown, best physical wide receiver in the league. And Justin Jefferson, number 1 wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. And we already know Tyreek Hill, the fastest wide receiver in the league. So, yeah, the fastest wide receiver in the league, Tyreek Hill. Again, best route runner, Devontae Adams. Best deep ball wide receiver, Jamar Chase. Best physical wide receiver, A.J. Brown. And best overall wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. So, to me, those are the tiers for wide receiver in the NFL. And one last thing before we get out of here. Last week I did all East, all AFC East, all AFC, all NFC East. I'm going to go ahead and start with the South this week. I'm going to do, again, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, an offensive line, 4 edge rushers. This could be defensive end or outside linebacker, and 2 defensive tackles, 2 middle linebackers, and 3 corners, 2 safeties. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Let's go ahead and add this. AFC South. To start with my quarterbacks of this division. Come on. You already know. As Nick Wright calls him, the prince that was promised. Golden boy. Trevor Lawrence, number 1 quarterback in the AFC South. The second quarterback, now again, I'm projecting when I do this. I am projecting that this will be the number 2 quarterback in the league. And these are projections, and I will see how accurate I will be after the season. And we ain't talking yards. We just talking yards, touchdowns, whatever. We just talking who played the best. I'm going with C.J. Stroud, number 1 pick. I'm going with C.J. Stroud in Houston. I like the kid. I think he got a lot of fight. We're going to see what he can do. All right, my 2 running backs. You already know King Henry in this division. King Henry go first until somebody say he ain't. And as of right now, this second, Jonathan Taylor's still in the AFC South. I ain't getting no notification that he's been traded. So Jonathan Taylor is going to be my second back in the AFC South. My 4 wide receivers in the AFC South. Again, remember, my last my wide receiver tiers was because ESPN ranked him number 1. We're going DeAndre Hopkins as the number 1 wide receiver in the AFC South. Brand new acquisition to the Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins. Second, Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to be number 1. Shout out to Christian Kirk, and he played amazing last year. But I think Calvin Ridley is going to take that number 1 spot this year and be the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver in the AFC South, number 1 in Jacksonville. My third, Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's amazing. I think Michael Pittman Jr. can definitely help out. If Jonathan Taylor play and don't hold out, and that rookie quarterback, he's learning, he's growing. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be that safety blanket for him, that target for him that he's going to need. And fourth is going to be Christian Kirk. So Jacksonville got 2 wide receivers to help out Golden Arm. We're going to go to the tight ends now. Number 1 tight end, come on, Evan Ingram. We already know. Second tight end, Dalton Schultz. I'm going with Dalton in this division. He just came over from the Cowboys. I think he's going to make an impact with C.J. Stroud. All right, so my 2 tackles in this division, come on, you already know. Laramie Tunsil, gas mask and all. It's number 1 best tackle in this division. Easy. I'm going to go Braden Smith with the second tackle. So Laramie going to play my left. Braden going to play on my right. My guards. Quentin Nelson is the number 1 guard in all of football. I don't know. Number 2 guard in all of football. Sorry. Shout out to Zach Martin. He's the number 2 guard in all of football, Quentin Nelson. And then Shaq Mason is going to play my other guard. And then playing center. Oh, I felt like I was playing basketball. The center is going to be Ryan Kelly. So the Colts have 3 offensive linemen, a running back, and a wide receiver already on this team to help out Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson just got to get some consistency going and, own his talents as a quarterback. And he could easily be the best quarterback in the division, or second best quarterback in the division, best rookie in the division. So I was going to the defense. My edge rushers. Give me Danico Autry from Tennessee Titans. Give me Josh Allen from Jacksonville Jaguars, outside linebacker. Give me Kwity Paye, defensive end in Indianapolis. And some favorite of mine. I know he didn't put up the numbers that he would like, but I'm hoping I'm predicting he has a big year this year. Remember where you heard it first. Trayvon Walker. All right, my two interior tackles. DeForest Buckner is going to be number one, and Jeffrey Simmons is going to be the second defensive tackle for me. All right, so we got two inside linebackers. I'm going Shaq Leonard, and I'm going Foyesade Aluakon. Both of them in the interior, sideline to sideline linebackers, very quick. Both of them can cover. Going that way. All right, my top three corners in the AFC South. I'm going Tyson Campbell on one side. Ball hawk corner, can make plays, been getting a lot better with sound coverage. Desmond King will be my second corner. Played very well in the slot, but I'm putting him in my second corner here. And I got Derek Stingley Jr. have a breakout year. You saw what Sauce did for the Jets last year. I think Derek Stingley is going to help, especially with Desmond King. Both of them are healthy. I think they're going to help that Texans defense with D'Amico Ryans being the new head coach there. That he's going to get them boys playing. All right, and finally, my two safeties. My first safety, if you hear me say anything about a safety in the league, you know my favorite safety, Kevin Byard. Ball hawk extraordinaire. It's getting a little longer in the tooth, but he still makes plays. Love me some Kevin Byard. That's one of my favorite safeties in this league. And I'm going Jalen Petrie. It's my second safety. I'm predicting he's going to have a big year as well. Like I said, with a brand new head coach, that's a defensive head coach. I think he's going to, play very well. And I got him, being the second best safety in that division. Like I said, I'm going to go head coach. No, he hasn't really. You know what? Head coach, I'm going to go with. I know Dougie P got the ring, but there are two defensive head coaches in there in that division. So I need him to be my offensive coordinator. Dougie P is going to be my offensive coordinator. My defensive coordinator is going to be D'Amico Ryans. And I'll let Mike Vrabel be my head coach for that division. Since he did win Coach of the Year in recent history. All right, y'all. That is my time for this evening. Y'all, I appreciate it if you just tune in, but definitely go to Twitter and to Instagram. Follow me on Al You Buggin on Twitter and Instagram at Al_U_Buggin. Watch some games. Like I said, this is going to be hopefully let's pick up a little bit more action. Regular season. So I look forward to seeing y'all on Friday. I'll talk to y'all again. Be blessed. Be productive. Be more. We love you. We out.